we're really excited about that. So we went to Gettysburg one time, and we just got some phenomenal evidence there. Anybody ever see that episode on the town, Gettysburg? We were down there at the militaria in the basement.
Yeah.
The reporter was asking, who gave the speech across the street, and it was where the Gettysburg Address was, and it said Abraham Lincoln. And then Brandon screamed so loud in my ear, Porter and I had a little embrace. Because he was so excited about hearing Abraham Lincoln, he like shrieked, and then we're like, ugh! After that, I'm like, Brandon, turn the main dad down the tap, He gets a little excited.
It happened twice. Well, Gettysburg, when we filmed there, that could have easily been a season of haunted towns. Like they could have had haunted towns Gettysburg. There was so much evidence that we captured just in a few areas, the few locations we went to, that, I mean, you can only pick so much to fit that 42, 43 minutes of the show. But there was so much stuff that did not make an episode. So it's like they could have easily done
They go
a
put it
handful
out
of
there to them.
episodes.
What do you want to do, Gettysburg?
So for us, this is like you were saying, the first public ghost hunt that we've ever done in Gettysburg. So we're excited about it. And I think there's another one coming up very soon. It's not announced yet. So
Yeah. We like to get out of Gettysburg anytime we can.
Gettysburg is awesome.
yeah.
Just
Why don't y'all stop making the ghost traps?
ghost traps. I wanted
Getting
to
those
call them.
hunters
I wanted to call them STDs. Spirit transportation device. But they didn't like it, so we had to call them traps. But I can't tell you how much flack we've gotten for you can't trap a ghost. What are you trapping for?
Oh, I did.
It's a network
That was
thing.
great.
We call them experiments. We were just trying to see if there was a way, because theoretically they're made up of energy, and you can contain energy theoretically. So we wanted to see if there was a way we could help them out, transfer them from one place to another. If they're trapped and they want to go, I don't think. Yeah, maybe like a couple times we were kind of successful, but. Hey, we made it to that show, The Soup, and they made fun of us for trapping ghosts in the line. We made it, right?
It's funny because so many people still to this day write about that. Like you can't trap a ghost, and it's like all of us that's doing what we're doing tonight. It's like we'll ask, so are you trapped here? Can you leave here? This doll is haunted. Ever since we brought this table into our house, we've been having activity. Something trapped in it? Something trapped in that doll? So it's like if something is contained, it's like, it's like which side are you looking at? So it's like if something is contained in that object, can you contain something? And so I think that was, when I wasn't investigating at that time, I was behind the scenes for Ghost Asylum. But
so are you still trying to do that, or?
Not really. I think the reason behind that is because when we were doing that, it was Ghost Asylum, and all the locations that we were filming at and that we were investigating were, those types of places, old asylums, hospitals, prisons, places you didn't want to be. So we were just trying to help any way that we could. And then once we kind of graduated to haunted towns, we went into a little bit nicer establishments, and we weren't getting so many negative things. So we just kind of, got away from that. We still do experiments sometimes, but if they want to, if we can transport them, all the better. But we don't really, we just try to communicate, see if we can gather some evidence. That's what this is all about.
Definitely easier. Like you can see on our merchandise table, we got Theodore, a little doll. We've had him for a year,
2, right?
2 years,
No.
year and a half, something like that.
No.
We brought him to every location we go to like this, every public investigation, filming every location we filmed out from Hawaii to wherever we went. He comes with us. We don't make a spectacle. He has his own Instagram page. But we don't like bring him out and like, make him a big thing. But it's like he's in every location, and we're like, maybe one day something will attach to him. And at that point, he will no longer come home with me. He can go with somebody else. But it's like a very low-key version of that. We're not trying to make an episode out of Theodore and like, can we trap something in him and make a big old thing about him? But it's like, there's been investigations where we'll bring him out, and it's like, oh, we got a doll for you, because there's a little kid spirit somewhere, so we'll use him. But, maybe something will attach to him. Maybe something is. I don't know. If
That's
there is,
good.
I don't want to know.
People have been trying the same thing for years now,
Yeah.
and you're trying something different, pretty much, and nobody understands it yet.
If somebody tells you you can, somebody tells you you can't, I believe they're wrong. There's no facts. Zero facts in this field. So who's to tell you this is the way to do it, this is not the way to do it? You can, you can't. It's like there's zero facts. It's all theory. That's why we're all chasing it still.
I don't think we'll ever know the answers. You know, I've been doing this for a while now, and I have more questions than I ever had answers in the first place. So, but it's still fun.
Yeah, I think that's what
That's
makes it more
blast.
intriguing
Yeah.
because it does open up more questioning and it never like reaches this wall. It's just like, okay, well now that explains that, but you know, what caused that? You know?
Exactly. And it's like, yeah, everything you think you might be that close to an answer leads to 10 more questions.
Yeah.
And it's the thrill of the chase. That's for me. I believe personally that we're not meant to know, you know, without getting into that whole thing. That's my belief on it. So it's the thrill of it. You know, it's like I'll sit here in the dark all night long and you hear something, you see something, it's like, oh, I want more. I want to see more. But why is this happening? I don't know. And I don't believe we're meant to know. I might ask that question, but I don't think we're meant to know. You might get an answer that whether it's true or not, who knows. But that's my belief.
Do you have a place that you've hunted at that was really scary that you don't even want to go back to?
There's, you know, we have our scary places, but I don't think any that we're kind of dumb. So I mean, I don't think there's any place we wouldn't go back to. There is one place for me that scares the hell out of me, you know, and that I won't go in by myself. Well, I will. I mean, I
Pinehurst?
No, I mean we've been to Pinehurst. That's a very creepy place, but Craig Font Mansion,
I wanna go there.
Castaigne Springs, Tennessee. It's not open to the public for ghost hunts. Unfortunately, we got to film there at Haunted Live. They stuck me up in the nursery by myself. But before that, years before that, we all finally gained access. This was a place we wanted to investigate for years. You know, it was built in like the 1700s, and there's a lot of violent, tragic history surrounding, you know, the home. So it was that place where when we were kids, we would pull up and look in the windows and, you know, try to, you know, the security guy would run us off the property. But we went in there and we all took turns by ourselves going in there trying to do solos, and it was just a feeling for me. And I'm not a field guy at all. You know, I got to see it, hear it, you know, smell it sometimes. But for whatever reason, this place just had a feeling to it. It was just dread. It was just get out, you know. And the hair on my arm stands up right now.
Made you
just
want
telling
more?
about it. Yeah, I mean, and I just ran out and I was like, I'm done, guys. That lasted maybe 5 minutes. I was like, next. But that's all I can give you as far as an experience. It's just a feeling. That's probably the creepiest place, and I've been to a lot of places. So yeah, but I'd still go back.
Besides the microphones, whatever, what do you think is the best thing that you've used to, you know,
Just capture anything?
or, you know, thermal?
Digital recorder for sure, number one for myself. You know, it's like I like to hear it. Other than that, I think we all have the same thing. It's your personal experience. You know, it's like if I had this place by myself, and it was just me all night long, I'd probably have a recorder going, and that's it. A flashlight to find my spot, and then I would find, and I would sit there, and I would be quiet, and I would just talk. And then it's like, what do you see? What do you hear? Sense, smell? You know, it's like sometimes you can see stuff in the dark. You know, it's like there's dark and there's darker. You know, if you know what I'm talking about. It's like you can see stuff in the dark sometimes, and it's that. You know, it's like sometimes we get so fixated on all the equipment we bring, and it's like looking at the green light, and then you forget about what's going on around you. You know, so it's like to me a digital recorder, and then you're just your own senses. And a lot of times, like in group ghost hunts like this, it's like bring out every toy. You know, it's like it's fishing. Is this working? No. Let's try the liver. That working? No. Let's try this. You know, and it's like you just try a little bit of everything. But sometimes it's just you. You know, you can have a badass experience tonight, and you can be sitting right next to him and experience nothing. Explain that. You know,
When you think if you want to experience something, which I kind of don't, if you're looking for it, you're probably going to find it. So you might want something to back that up.
Well, it's up to you. It's like if your goal is to share what you have with everybody else and say, look at this, then yeah, I mean, a digital recorder, a camera, you know, something to record that evidence. But for me, like he said, it's a personal experience. It's something that nobody else can take away from you. It's something that you know you had, that you don't have to talk anybody else into believing because you were there and you experienced it. The best experiences I've ever had is, nobody was around. when it
Well,
happened.
I'm just
So,
saying, I mean, the mind's a powerful thing, so if I
Yeah.
want to hear that knock on the wall, I might hear it, but if I have something like a recorder, or
Yeah.
I saw something go by and I actually backed up, but I'm
Sure, yeah.
curious.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, especially for, like you said, for things like this or for television, you gotta have that kind of thing to, share it with other people. So, I think it's personal preference. As far as the thermal gun you were talking about, in my opinion, that's only good for like if you're outside, like a battlefield, something like that, where you got a lot of space. Because there's so many heat sources inside, especially like here. You got electric, you got heat, you got people sitting down, moving around. But if you're outside and everything's one ambient temperature, and then you get a hot spot somewhere and it's in the shape of a person, then and there's not a person standing there, then yeah, that's cool as hell.
I mean, you can, with those, those flare cameras, we can start a ghost hunt 10 minutes from now, we can walk away. You can be like, there's 2 ghost asses against this thing. And it's still warm from us leaving this. So it'll still be there. So it's like
But
one
I
of
can
those.
take a picture of it, look what I saw.
So somebody can lean
Pull your
against
buddy.
There you go.
Like if somebody could just lean against the wall and go, wow, like this, you can be in a group and it's dark, you don't realize you're leaning against the wall, and then you can walk away, and then you can be like, I'm seeing something, and it's like it was really just you, So unless it's tough, but they're very cool. I mean,
And never take them on a battleship. Anything with reflections, because it's just gonna freak you out the whole time.
but there's been badass stuff we caught off those, and the ones that you can hook into your phone, they're pretty spot on too. They're still pricey, but they're cool. I mean, but like I just said, you got to make sure we're not like you're in this room and everybody gets up. Look at all the ghosts on the seats. It's like just everybody else's ass.
Well, it's like going to the cemetery and getting orbs. There's all types of moisture in the air, and most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's dust or moisture, some kind of light refraction. But people will still come up and show me a cemetery full of moisture. Look at all these ghosts, and then you're like, I think it's moisture. Nah, bro, it's ghosts. All right, whatever you think. But it's all about preference. Like, does anybody like the spirit box in here? Anybody use a spirit box? See, I'm not a spirit box guy. To me, I just hear a bunch of if, and then your mind makes it out to sentences or words or things like that. But like Doogie, he loves a spirit box, and then I think you use it sometimes too, like the spiritists and stuff. It's just personal preference. Like, and I'm not gonna down. If you want to use it tonight, definitely go for it, because not everybody shares the same opinion as me. So that's
I'm
what.
like 50-50 on pretty much all equipment, unless it's a recorder, unless you see it, you can hear it. Everything's 50-50, but any of those spirit boxes, the apps, people say, what do you think about the apps? It's like, I don't know. Can you get an Ovilus like this, or can I download the Ovilus for $2.99? How do I know it's any different from something that's $300 or something that's $3? I don't know. And it's like, who are we to say? But it's like, a lot of times with like the Spiritus and Echo Box, we use them on a show, and that's where, honestly, on a show, because before the last season, it's where I'm like, you already know the answer you want to hear when you ask a question. So do you know my name? It's like, I know my name, so it's like when it's like, it said Mike. It's like, I don't know if it really said Mike. I'm thinking I wanted to say
I
Mike.
did paranormal investigation at my kind of man cave I got at my house, but I had the spirit verify what he was saying off the K2 meter by lighting it up.
Yeah, like when you can bounce things
I got it
off
on
together.
film too.
Yeah, and it's like when we got full sentences off that Echo Box,
But I did ask,
then it was like, okay,
but
now
you could
you
very
turn me on to a little bit
clearly
more.
hear what he was saying. Then I did ask him, is that what you said? If so, can you please light that up? He did.
That's good. When you can back that stuff up. We've had.
I'm skeptic too. You gotta be. You can't say, oh, that's paranormal, that's paranormal. You gotta be skeptic. You gotta sound proof, like you said, smell it, taste it, feel
Yeah,
it.
you can be a believer
Hold
in
it.
stuff.
Yeah,
and
you can be a
still
believer, but
skeptical.
you gotta hold that evidence. Let's see it. I agree.
Hmm?
That's why I did that way. So I'll check.
Yeah, compare it to something. Back it to something else.
Yeah, Yeah, I got ghosts. I mean, they don't really bother me. You know, we coexist together. I always say, you know, look, but don't touch.
Right.
I came home from the grocery store one day and I have an office chair all the way in the back of my house. I opened the door.